What's going on, everyone? Welcome to QVO Games. My name is Juan. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it so much. This video is going to be about the games coming retail the week of January 22nd. We have 6 games and 1 update coming out, and we're back in it, right? Games are coming out more often. We had like a 2-week dark period, I guess, where we didn't have any games at the end of December, end of the year essentially, and we have games that are coming out now. Let's get this video going. Just so you're aware, I am covering games that are coming to retail in the US specifically. Therefore, these games may have already been released in different regions of the world. May have already been pre-released at a convention of some sort, or a content creator got a preview copy in advance. So you may already see content about these games already. Also, keep in mind, we still have a global shipping crisis going on. Therefore, some of these games may be delayed. If that is to occur, I'll make sure to advise you of the new release date as we usually do in the new release week's video. So let's get this video going and let's start showcasing some games. Coming up first is going to be Galileo Project, which is an update, and the game is by Hachette Board Games and Sorry We Are French. It's going to be released on January 25th. Previously was going to be released October 26th. Galileo Project is going to be an engine building game where you use a lot of combos with different crew members, your technologies, and robots trying to lay claim on one of Jupiter's moons. So human society has uprose and is now in space and colonized different parts of space. You're playing as one of the corporations trying to lay claim on one of these, and you're doing it by settling with one of your 4 satellites on Jupiter. You do that by acquiring different robots and people on Earth and Mars. So Earth and Mars are colonized, and we are now living on both planets. So Galileo Project it looks like a good theme. The game looks interesting. It's an engine building game. The whole science theme with a engine building aspect seems like it's been done before already. So I'm kind of interested to see how good this game does and where it lands. The game looks, like I said, it looks interesting. It looks like a fun game. We just need to see where exactly it's going to be with the saturation of like space themed games with engine building attached to it. This is going to be Galileo Project coming out January 25th. And now let's continue on with Deal with the Devil by CGE coming out this week. We have 2 games that I know are going to be out this week. We just don't have an exact release date for, but they are being released this week to your retail stores. You can probably find them now as it is today. So Deal with the Devil is going to be by CGE, releasing this week. And the game is an interesting game because it plays at 4 players. I don't think it plays any lower or higher. Looking from like this player count right here, 4 players. You're basically trying to bargain and switch off resources to acquire. It's a Euro game, and you're getting resources by making deals and offerings. Someone in these 4 groups there is someone who is a trader, like a hidden trader kind of thing, and that person is trying to mess with your deals. And if they're doing too well, everyone takes notice and tries to mess with them. So the game is a Euro game, but it has a really different source of mechanics. It's a competitive asymmetrical game with hidden roles and engine building. That is interesting. It's almost like mixing social deduction within a Euro game. And I find that's really unique and interesting. This is definitely a game I want to try out at least one time to see if I really enjoy it. And I think it's going to be a hit. This is Deal with the Devil by CGE coming out coming out this week of January. Coming up next, the next game coming out this week is going to be Starship Captains. Yet again, another case of, I don't know the exact date, but I just know it's being released this week, as it's also going to start popping up in retail stores as I see. Starship Captains, it's a Euro game based in space, and you're training your crew and you're upgrading your starships to take on different missions, and a new Starship Captain is like, you're basically a new Starship Captain trying to come up and rise. First things first, I like the art in this game. I think the art, it looks really interesting. I really enjoy that. It's kind of like that comic book vibe or feel to it. The game itself is going to be a Euro game, and it's based in space. It's going to be act selection, engine building, and crew management the whole time. I like the art and I like the set of it. CGE is a very popular publisher to me. I love Lost Ruins of Arnak. That's one of my favorite games. Something I play often even. I played even like on BGA. I would recommend even to friends who come over to play games. I always bring it out. So I have CGE on my radar, and I think Starship Captains, it looks like it's going to be a fun game. Euro game with some engine building and based in sci-fi. I mean, it's hard to say if the game's theme is going to hinder the performance or like the success of this game. But Starship Captains is coming out this week by CGE. Coming up next, coming out January 25th, is going to be Gasha or Gacha. It's going to be if you haven't heard about this game before, it's a set collecting game with cards, and we do have good pictures here that we can go through. So it's a set collection game, and if you notice little balls here, so it's going to be called Gasha or Gacha, right? Gasha is like Pong in Japanese, and essentially, Gacha is the sound of you turning the crank on one of those gacha machines. And the gacha machines is going to be gacha pong is like the longer way of it, gacha pong or gasha pong. And pong is the sound of the ball coming down from the machine. It's going to be gacha, and that's basically what it's based on. So it's a Japanese term. The game itself, it's a card game. It's a set collection game. Does it play any differently? I mean, it's hard to say. The game looks pretty common, but however, the art's awesome, and I like the theme a lot. I love Japanese culture and Japanese themed games, and I think gacha is going to be if you want something different, in your set collecting games. If you don't want like vegetable games or something like that, right? Like point salad. Gacha looks like it would be a fun game to add to your collection to add a little bit of variety to the themes you have in your collection of games. Gacha is coming out January 25th. And it's going to be by 25th Century Games. Coming up next is going to be Hickory Dickory by Plaid Hat Games. So Plaid Hat Games, coming out January 25th as well. So Hickory Dickory, and Plaid Hat Games as it is, I love Plaid Hat Games. They made one of my favorite games ever. Stuffed Fables was like my intro to modern board gaming, and I have a really big soft spot for that only because it was such a fun and great game, and one of the games that I first tried and I had such an amazing experience with. So Plaid Hat Games holds a special place in my heart when it comes to their games usually. Hickory Dickory, I'm not going to be biased either. Like, I'm definitely going to give you what the source information it should be and my own personal opinion about things. Hickory Dickory is going to be a competitive game, right? It's not cooperative like other Plaid Hat games are, and you're playing as with you have your team of mice, and I want to show you a picture. There it is. So you have a team of mice, and you are lining them up to grab tiles, and you're collecting tiles. You line them up on the little time clock thing, and then you take your actions as you go around. I want to get a more stable picture. There we go. Perfect. That is not helping. So here we go. This is better. So you're going to line them up, and you can actually have the chance to push people off and force them to take actions. As the clock moves around in a circle, I'm assuming clockwise. I don't know if there's a mechanic to make it go counterclockwise. You take your actions and choose where you want to go. And of course, there's also a mechanic where you can actually push someone off the clock there, the little hand, that clock hand, and you can make them take an action by force. That's kind of cool. I really like that. And each mouse, there we go. This is what I was looking for, actually. So you go in a circle here, and then you can push people off to take different actions. You take different actions going around. Your whole thing is collecting pieces to add to your board to create different patterns, and the patterns are going to help you get points. The game, like I said, every mouse has a lot of different abilities, essentially what they can and can't do, which is kind of interesting. A little asymmetry within your player board, like within yourself, but everyone has the same mice. Hickory Dickory. I think the game looks interesting. It's funny, the mouse thing, right? They have like Aftermath, which is a mouse game, Mice and Mystics. We have mice in it. Plaid Hat Mice is just a real. It's because they can't be separated to be apart, I guess. Hickory Dickory by Plaid Hat Games, coming out January 25th. Coming up next is going to be Retrograde by Resonim. On January 25th. Retrograde was originally on Kickstarter, and now it's coming to retail. The game's released January 25th, and it's a roll and write game, which is kind of cool. It has a real-time aspect to it. So Retrograde is going to be based on retro games from the 80s and 90s. As you can see, it looks like almost like, I want to say like Galaga. I think that's the game that was back in the 80s and 90s. And you're going to be rolling dice, and you're going to have a set of cards. I believe they have pictures. Yeah, they do. Excellent. So they have a couple of pictures here. I can't really zoom in on them or make them big, but it's going to be... Actually, I think I can. No, I can't. That's fine. So Retrograde is going to be a game where you're rolling dice. It's real time. You're going to keep rolling, and try to match up different cards. And when you match up to the cards, you're going to be using those cards to combo and start taking out the aliens who are trying to land. And you do that by rolling cards, using the abilities on those cards that you've collected, using the dice you have to match up with the symbols on the cards, collecting your cards, and then using that card in the next step to cross off different aliens that you're going to be shooting, essentially, within the game. I'm starting to get more into roll and write games, and I want to see how this one holds up and how it does. Retrograde does look like an interesting thing. I love 80s, 90s, or things based off of video games are always fun, I think, in general. It's going to be Retrograde. It's going to be Retrograde, and it's coming out January 25th by Resonim Games. Our last game up is going to be ISS Vanguard, coming out January 27th. ISS Vanguard, it was on Kickstarter before, it's by Awakened Realms, and now it's coming to retail. If you haven't heard about this game, Geez, there's a lot of coverage everywhere going on about it. And honestly, I think Awakened Realms has definitely developed a name for themselves to be creating very, very, very ambitious and big games. Nothing short from ISS Vanguard, it's a co-op and solo game. I know it more for its co-op. It's a sci-fi adventure exploration game, and you are basically going on and leading the first galactic exploration effort, and you're doing that in your spaceship with your crew and your, of course, the friends you bring on with you. There's not really many pictures here that I really can't show you, so I'm just going to talk about the game. We're going to scroll up here. I'm just going to talk about the game itself. It's going to be a space exploration game with a lot of miniatures. The game was on Kickstarter before, so there was like a lot of exclusive stuff that was on there, and now it's coming to retail. Honestly, sometimes it's good to like not, aka me, right, not buy all these expensive Kickstarters and then also just go to the retail version. Sometimes these games have so much content involved with them that you never even get to all that content. And ISS Vanguard coming to retail is perfect for that because you can just get the base game, have your fun with the adventure, and if you like more, hunt for it and look for it in the secondhand market. It's going to be ISS Vanguard. It's going to be a cooperative adventure space game coming out January 27th. That is it. That is the list of games coming out this week that I could find exact dates for in the week of January 22nd. There's a great lineup of games, honestly. We've been having some really great games, a lot of heavy hitters. Awakened Realms coming out with some fire, CG coming out with some fire, a lot of awesome games coming out. And this is no short. This is just the start of the year. And now imagine how we're going to progress through the year and have more games come out. If you made it to this far into the video, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you for making this far into the video. If you'd like to see more of this content, if you don't mind, just hitting the like button, subscribing, or commenting. That would be extremely helpful to help us grow and get the word out and make sure that everyone is also informed about these games coming to retail, therefore growing our hobby. That's kind of the goal. We're trying to grow our hobby, and the way we do that is by promoting everything and making it bigger so everyone knows about it. Thank you so much for watching the video. If you made it this far, thank you so much. I appreciate it a lot. Have a good one.